Welcome to Inside Image, presented by Seismic Soundoff. I'm your host, Andrew Geary. Image is the #1 global geoscience event hosted by the Society of Exploration Geophysicists and the American Association of Petroleum Geologists. In this special series, you'll get a behind-the-scenes look at the people, purpose, and progress driving the Image Conference. This is more than an event. It's a global meeting of minds in applied geophysics, geology, and beyond. Across pavilions, technical sessions, and networking spaces, attendees are tackling today's toughest earth science challenges, from energy transition to carbon management. Over the course of this series, I'll be speaking with leaders, students, and visionaries about what they're discovering, what excites them, and how Image continues to fuel their work long after the lights go down. Consider this your front row seat to the ideas shaping the future of geoscience. Let's join the discussion.
So my name is Lars Koehn. I am now a geoscientist at ExxonMobil Low Carbon Solutions. Just started recently as a new hire. And one word I would use to describe Image is exciting, because I've been very excited to be here and seeing a lot of exciting presentations.
Were you at the opening session last night?
I was, yes.
So I'll ask 2 questions related to that. What are your 3 priorities of coming to Image this year?
So my 3 priorities are to reconnect with people I've already known that I've met through past internships, past SEG programs, and sort of continue that networking and connection. And then my second one is very similar, but to meet new people. And so to grow that network, find new connections, either I've already met people I haven't met before at Exxon where I'm working. And so that's great to meet them outside of the office. And then also people at other companies and other organizations. And my third is to hopefully learn something. So attend, technical presentations, attend poster sessions, and see what kind of research people are doing and try and grow my own capabilities.
Have you already seen something, or do you have something circled, a technical talk, a session that you're particularly excited to take back to Exxon?
Yeah, on Thursday, there is a technical oral presentation session on modeling for carbon storage. And so carbon storage is something that I'm now working on professionally at Exxon. And so I'm excited to see kind of the forefront of that research and the techniques that people are using so that I can bring that back now to my new role.
And what would you say is your geoscience passion?
My geoscience passion is definitely related to providing reliable and clean energy to the world. So that's really why I got into this field. I started out, my interest in geology started out being very paleontology related, which is great. And I still love paleontology. But as I was exposed to more subjects within geology, I realized I really wanted to make an impact in the world. And I feel that energy is a great way to do that. And building these kinds of energy projects that positively impact our communities is something I'm really excited to be working on.
Can you think back and whether it was attending Image or a class, like what led you were interested in paleontology and geology? How did you transition over and I want to use my passions and skills in the space here that you're in now?
Yes. So it was probably as an undergrad in my 3rd or 4th year, I took a kind of intro to petroleum geology class. And so my geology program, I went to SMU in Dallas as an undergrad. So it's a bit smaller program, but they offered this course and I took it. And I remember seeing kind of the history of oil production, how people got started, some of the early discoveries, things like Spindletop that seemed really exciting. And I saw how, that kind of growth and those kind of discoveries led to economic growth and development in places like Houston, and how technologies have changed over time with new methods, unconventionals and all of these things. And then seeing, new technologies that are being developed now, such as carbon storage, which is what I'm working on. And I really wanted to be at that kind of cutting edge of new technology and development that's powering our, cities like Houston.
How is your experience coming? So you participated in the SEG Evolve program before. How is your experience at Image coming here as a student, as an SEG Evolve participant, to now where you are employed by ExxonMobil and you're here as a young professional employee?
Yeah, it's definitely exciting. It's kind of a full circle moment as you're describing. So yeah, coming in as a student, being very kind of wide-eyed my first time, almost overwhelmed, going into the exhibition floor the first time, and you see all these bright lights. all these big stands, all these companies, and just trying to learn as much as possible to kind of, being in the SEG Evolve program where now I'm presenting, now I'm sharing information as well as learning, to now where I'm still, sharing information, learning, but also focusing much more on kind of professional business network development.
What have you found inspirational of attending Image? Why have you chosen to come here every time Image has been in person? What keeps you coming back?
So the in-person connections are fantastic here. It's truly amazing to see the whole energy industry come together in one place. And I'm surprised by how tight-knit the community is. I wouldn't use the word, I was going to say small, but it's not small because it's a lot of people. But you start seeing the same people again every year, and you start growing those connections and learning more and more. And so it's really exciting to see, someone's research come from 3 years ago, and now they're presenting, like the final results here now, which is something that I'm seeing with a lab mate of mine who's still in grad school. And I'm seeing now kind of final results that he's presenting on Thursday. And so, it's really exciting to see research development and new technologies come online. When I was first here, carbon storage was a very, very small part of it. And now it's grown to have multiple sessions. There's a carbon management pavilion. And so seeing new technologies keep being added to the program. I don't think there was a geothermal pavilion my first year. And so that might also be something that's new. So all this kind of growth in the research that's happening.
Have you happened to share any advice, or have they asked you, so you're an Evolve mentor now, the team that is here presenting, have you shared any words of wisdom with that team to get the most out of their time at Image? Yeah,
so I would always recommend to people to network as much as possible, to go around the exhibition floor and meet as many people as they can, especially at the industry booths. As a student, you're not really, purchasing, software or industry, contracts or anything like that. But building that connection and learning what kind of services are offered can help develop you in the future for maybe you're looking for an internship or a job, or you are working somewhere else and you need a service or software, and so you know who to reach out to. And so building that professional network is extremely valuable.
Did you find it in your time as a student doing that the people on the exhibition floor were receptive to talking to a student? Because you said you're not buying anything per se, but they are receptive to hearing from a student.
Absolutely. I think everyone is excited to share the kind of work that they do and to show the capabilities that their company or their organization has. And they've been very excited to share that with students. And I think everyone recognizes that, students are kind of the next generation of professionals in their field. And so they're very eager to show you what they have.
What do you think it sets Image apart as a particular unique and special geoscience event?
I would say it's the combination of research and industry. So there's a lot of, geology conferences that are, all research or all industry. And I feel like this is the one that gets the ratio right of presenting, academic research, all the great work that's going on in universities, as well as bringing in industries and seeing the work they're doing in their own research organizations, as well as kind of professional project developments that are coming online. And I don't think any other conference really gets both in such a good way as Image does.
So you mentioned this geothermal hub, which is a little next to where we are, is pretty new and wasn't there when you were there. What do you hope that is small now at Image that you hope in 4 or 5 years will be bigger? What do you think is going to be bigger? Either one. What do you hope and what do you think will be?
Yes. So I'm hoping that carbon storage continues to grow. That's something I worked on in grad school, and I did a Evolve project on carbon storage, and then I'm doing now professionally. So I hope that field really continues to grow and grow geographically. I feel at the moment there's a lot of great projects being developed, but they are kind of limited into the types of basins and the places in the world where we're doing that. And one of those places is the Gulf Coast area, which is fantastic. It's a great area to work in. But seeing that kind of expand globally, I think would be really exciting. Similar idea with geothermal, right? There's only, in conventional thinking, there's only a few places in the world where we can do geothermal economically, and seeing as technology advances, maybe we can expand that out to new fields. And so that would be really exciting. And I think something that I've seen also grow tremendously is AI and machine learning applications. And I think I wouldn't call that a small part of Image today. I think it's a very large part of the program, but I imagine that's going to continue to grow as well as that technology develops.
How has your relationship to the professional societies adapted and evolved as you have changed. So like you were more explicitly, student chapters evolve, and now you're a young professional. How do you find engaging with the professional society, supporting your own personal goals and in your career?
Yeah, so it's definitely changed significantly. It's always been supportive. So, when I was a student, you're really looking for support. And the ways you can give back are more through your time, through volunteering, but you're unable to really give, financial support. And so you're looking for things like scholarships, you're looking for learning opportunities, you're looking for networking opportunities, and SEG and other professional programs are fantastic about providing those opportunities. And then as you start to become, kind of a senior student, right, close to graduating, you're especially focused on those professional opportunities, but you're also starting to mentor other students and starting to contribute to the organizations by, bringing new students in, right? So new students come into your university. You introduce them to SEG, you get them to join the club, you start exposing them to things like Image. So, the first 2 times I came to Image, I was the only student from my university here. And the last 2 times we've had, 4 or 5 students come in addition to myself. So it's been great to grow the participation and get more students access to these great resources. And then now as an early professional, your contributions are growing there as well. You're still looking for mentorship from more experienced professionals, which is a great thing about SEG. It's this fantastic professional organization where there's some really experienced geologists that you can learn from in. But then now I'm also sharing, my learnings as a new hire with the current generation of students and connecting with other new hires to learn, right? And so it's been great.
How do you find your interest, coming from that geology, paleontology interest background? How do you find being here at Image with the combined AAPG and SEG? How do you find that like supporting your career, this more multidisciplinary aspect than this event used to be?
Yeah. No, I love the multidisciplinary aspect. There's people who are working on all kinds of things, all kinds of different fields of research. And we talked about like the new technologies, things like carbon storage, things like geothermal, starting to see things like hydrogen, and then, multidisciplinary in terms of the type of geology people are doing. So, I've talked about a little bit about paleontology. There are paleontology applications to energy, right? So there are people who discuss those aspects. There are people who discuss, sedimentology and stratigraphy and structure, and people who have more, pure geophysics, how they process data, and seeing how all of that comes together and is integrated into kind of single projects is really powerful. And I think that's where Image really shines, is showing how we can integrate these different techniques and these different fields within geoscience more broadly to actually build projects that have, really large impacts.
Have you found an exhibitor or a presentation or an event reception, anything at Image where you've like walked into it and been like, this is my group. Like these people are like, this is where they're thinking how I want to think and where I want to be.
So this isn't exactly what you meant, but I really enjoyed the early career and student networking event that was yesterday afternoon. I feel like that was such a great opportunity to meet with like-minded, students and young professionals, and then experienced, mentors who were there as well, who are all really excited and really passionate about their work, about geology, about geophysics, about energy, and about the projects that they were building. And so kind of meeting that group of people and growing my network, meeting people that I've already met before. And that really felt like, yeah, this is the people I want to be with and see grow as our careers continue to grow in the coming years.
I think it's pretty common that people would have a mentor, like a young professional would have a mentor. I think maybe that's an undervalued thing still, but you're also mentoring yourself, other students. What would you say to encourage someone, a young professional, to be like, why would I mentor someone? Who am I? Like, what would you say to them to encourage them to consider mentoring and using their skills?
So I think an overlooked aspect of mentoring is how much you learn as the mentor, learning from, a younger or less experienced student, or another professional. They tend to bring a new perspective that maybe you haven't considered. And I think when you work on something for a long time, you kind of tend to develop a certain pathway or certain workflow that is maybe very effective, but you kind of start doing things the same way every time. And so bringing in a new perspective can help open your eyes to different techniques, new developments, new ways of working that can be really positive. And for me, for kind of a concrete example, I kind of went through undergrad and most of grad school before this kind of AI revolution that we're going through right now, where AI tools weren't as readily accessible as they are now. And so, mentoring some new students who are coming up and now they're doing, their whole master's is focused on AI tools. And so I can mentor them in kind of a professional sense, and then they can, show me what they're working on and I can learn from them on some of these AI tools. And so the benefit goes both ways.
Yeah, it's kind of fascinating. We're at a certain time where the age range may not be that vast, but your experience going through school may be entirely different from what someone else is now. And it does create a unique situation where you can really mentor them in some powerful ways.
Exactly. And kind of thinking about it the other way too. So I kind of came through grad school working on carbon storage projects, which were kind of not necessarily new, but there's kind of a renewed interest in carbon storage. In this idea. And so a lot of my mentors were, experienced oil and gas, professionals. And so they have the skills that you can apply to carbon storage, but they weren't as focused on that CCS aspect. And so I brought that CCS perspective, and I'm learning kind of the core geoscience skills from these oil and gas professionals and sharing with them how we would apply that to carbon storage. And so again, that exchange goes both ways.
If you would describe Image in 3 words, what would those 3 words be?
I would say I used exciting earlier. I would also say collaborative. As I was talking about with the exhibit booths, everyone is willing to speak with you. Everyone is willing to share the work they're doing, and they want to hear from you as well. And so it's this great opportunity to learn and to teach at the same time. And so that collaboration is really excellent. And then for a third word, I would say innovative or cutting edge. So these new technologies that we've been talking about, and it's especially exciting to me as a young professional to see these new technologies applied and to see them being embraced by both industry and universities, and see how they're really adapting and bringing these new technologies to the front of actual projects that are being implemented.
Any final thoughts to share with the Inside Image audience?
Yeah, I would encourage everyone to participate in SEG programs as much as possible, especially SEG Evolve. I would encourage students to take a look at it and see if that program is something they'd be interested in participating in. I think it's a fantastic professional development experience, a fantastic learning opportunity. And so I would encourage everyone to consider it, to look at it and see if they can meet those requirements. And then I would encourage professionals to see if they have the time available to be a mentor, either in the Evolve program or in a more informal setting, and provide mentorship to students and young professionals.
Yeah, it's nice to get that experience presenting as a student through Evolve, and there's other ways to do it well as a student, but just kind of moving your way up the ranks of presenting as a student, then as a young professional, then it just kind of ease you into getting used to doing that kind of work.
Absolutely.
Thank you for joining me here on Inside Image. The conversations you've heard today capture the energy, ambition, and collaborative spirit that make Image such a vital gathering for our community. Be sure to catch our highlight episodes, social media clips, and post-event recap, extending the best moments far beyond this week. I'm Andrew Geary. Thanks for listening, and here's to the innovations ahead.